there, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Torgo Entertainment YouTube channel. Torgo here. Welcome back to another gig log, and welcome back to another wedding.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Every single weekend in October, I have at least one gig. And we have weddings for the first 4 weekends, so we're gonna kick off the month, kick off the fall season. I know fall starts in September, but in DJ minds, fall is really October, especially weather-wise. We kick things off with the wedding of Colby and Olivia. I feel like I've had a lot of these this year, but this is a subcontracted wedding, the 7th of 8 subcontracted weddings I have this year. And there isn't really that much to say. We are handling ceremony, cocktail, and reception. Cocktail and reception are in the same location. Very standard fare for what we feature on this channel. But today we head to a new venue, the Wadsworth Homestead in Geneseo, New York. Let's go to the map and show you where that is. We're looking at about an hour 10 away from here. I'm very happy this wedding is today and not tomorrow, because those of you who know the Corning area know, this weekend is the weekend of the Wine Glass Marathon. And as it turns out, we've had a lot of people partake in this every single year. Last year, obviously, they had a virtual marathon due to COVID regulations. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but whatever. But they're having it in person this year, so this one's going to be bigger than ever before, and there's a lot of street closures. So I made sure not to take anything for tomorrow, October 3rd. And there were quite a few inquiries. The first weekend in October, and the whole month of October really, is extremely popular for weddings, at least it is here. I can't speak for DJs in other parts of the country, but October is consistently the most popular month for weddings in upstate New York. The other thing of note that we're handling here is the new uplighting. They want uplighting in the tent. Now, when I went to the venue in May, I didn't get a chance to really take any videos because I was in a rush and I was on my way to a meeting for a different wedding, but I did get some photos, so I saw this tent that they wanted entirely uplit. Now, uplights are not really meant for this type of use. Normally we put it up alongside the walls, but there's no walls on this tent. They want the ceiling lit up. So, I wasn't sure exactly if I had enough. I have 16 uplights primarily. I have some of the UB hex bars, but I didn't know what the power situation was going to be alongside the walls. Now, obviously, I could see that there's outlets on this tent, but something you have to consider when you check out these venues is not every outlet's going to be available because you have catering, you have photographers who need lights. All that other stuff is going to be used, so you have to be able to take care of that. So I know I needed to get more wireless uplighting, and because I needed more, I finally decided to bite the bullet and pick up the Ape Labs Maxis. And full disclosure, I have never been sponsored by anybody on this channel. If you see a type of product, it's because I bought it. No one has ever given me a product to use for free. No one has ever exchanged, advertising or services. It's just stuff that I use. I don't want there to be any illusion that companies are paying me to use their product, because it's definitely not true. I've seen a lot of reviews about the Ape Labs Maxis and I was very impressed. Playing around with these lights, I like them a lot. I don't like that they're not the easiest things to DMX. You need to have a separate Ape Labs controller in order to hook that up, and I already have the ADJ Airstream, so that's a little annoying. I'm gonna see if I can figure that out, which way to go. But the main problem I've had with my uplighting and my lighting in general, I think it looks great. Couples think it looks great. However, those of you who have watched enough videos of mine know that it kind of does the same thing at every wedding. It's on like the rainbow pattern, back and forth. And I can change it, for drops. I can have the red room, I can go to a slow dance setting, I can do solid colors, which is fine. But just to change it up a little bit, I think I'm gonna have the Ape Labs Maxis peppered throughout. I only have 6 of those as opposed to the 16 of the ADJ uplighting. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit when I get to the venue. That's why I'm giving myself an extra hour. It's currently 9:30. I'm gonna try to get to the venue between 11:30 and 12, and the ceremony doesn't start until 3:30. A lot of the time that I use now for setup is done aiming the lights. But yeah, we have some new equipment we're testing out. We have a new venue. I have a new assistant for this wedding. Rachel is coming with me on this one. You heard her voice in the last video when I went to homecoming. That was her in the background when we got stopped by that construction worker who didn't understand the difference between slow and stop on his side.
I don't know why it's so slow when you're cute. It's fine. We got it. We got it. We got it.
And I'll mention this very briefly. A couple people have asked me before why I don't have female assistants, and the fact of the matter is I have, but I always had them before I started filming videos on this channel. I prefer female assistants, and it's not for the reason you might think. It's simply because brides, I have found in the 11 years I've done this, relate better to women in those kinds of positions. You know, and I get along with brides fairly well, but it's nothing compared to that camaraderie that women have with each other. So having a female assistant is definitely helpful from that point of view. Obviously, there's pros and cons to each of those things, and you have to take that into account. But I hope you're ready for this one. I'm actually filming this intro on the GoPro because the camera's packed up ready to go. Oh, I hope that microphone's not in the way. That would suck. But I hope you're ready for this one. It should be a good time. It's a little chilly out. It's like 55 degrees right now. It's supposed to have a high in the low 70s, so we will see what happens, hence the long sleeves. Let's go. I actually have this overhead zoomed out just a tad to show you the proximity of SUNY Geneseo's campus to the homestead, because they actually had a home game there and you could hear the announcer of the game blaring through their audio system. It wasn't a big deal during the reception because we had the tent right there, but during ceremony, you could definitely hear some bleed through of the sports game that they had going on. So let's zoom in a little bit to the homestead proper. So the reception is going to take place inside that tent denoted by this orange star. However, you'll probably notice that the driving is a little weird, so the path we had to take is here. And this sucked. There's no two ways around it. Gravel on the rock and roller cart is not fun, and I really got to work out pushing stuff up the hill and getting up that curb lip into the tent. And just when you thought that was rough enough, then we had the ceremony take place out back of the mansion where the orange triangle is denoted. And you can probably guess I had to hoof that as well. Huge path I had to take to get from the car, up the path, past the bathrooms, through the woods, across the manor and down. I wanted to go across the manor so I didn't leave any tire tracks where the ceremony was going to be. And let's start with the reception setup. This is a unique color and I have it in uplighting all throughout the room. I have the uplighting off right now. We have the photo booth from the photographer directly across from me. Here are the 5 color presets from the theme that the couple gave me, and I chose number 5. It doesn't look the same on camera, but trust me, it looks great in there. So we have, starting off, the Ape Labs Maxi. I have 6 of those, and we have that on top of the EV ELX 200 subwoofer. We have my Dragon front board's facade, the Ritmo pattern in white, and we have the 2 UB12 hex bars lighting that up. Coming off to the side, we have the ADJ light-up speaker stands, the CSL 100s, the QSE K10.2 tops on top. We have the Focus Spot 3Zs on top of my pre-wired truss. We have the 5PX inside that, and we have the ADJ Element Hex in front. On top of that, we have a bit of a cable clamp right there. We have my Manfrotto tripod with my Panasonic 4K HD camcorder right there with the Rode shotgun mic. We have the SLX microphone from Shure and the receiver there. Just need the one microphone indoors. We have some gaff tape, the PowerBar 65, my water bottle. That red book is for Request, the spiral notebook. The Pioneer DDJ SX2 controller, my Samsung Odyssey notebook running Virtual DJ Pro, Logitech trackball mouse, SanDisk 2TB solid-state hard drive with all the music on it. We have my tablet, my iPad, and we have that on top of the Airstream DMX router. That way I can control my lights wirelessly. We had the Audio-Technica MX50 headphones. That's pretty much it. Let's go over to ceremony. There is the manor proper, the Wadsworth Homestead Mansion. Watson is a different location. And here we are for ceremony. I liked being off to the side. I always like being on the groomsman's side because I make a terrible bridesmaid. Here we have the same stuff we've seen for so many ceremonies. Chromebook, the Yamaha 10-channel mixer, the mic rack with the 2 ULXD transmitters in there, the X stand, my power inverter from Yeti, and let's go and check this out from the front, the Bose S1 Pro speaker. We have some black scrim on top of a standard stand. We have my rock and roller cart so I can huff everything back up once we're done. So check this out. I decided to put the 2 microphones on stands behind the flowers. You cannot see them from the front, and I put orange skins on them to try and blend in with not only the theme, but the flowers that they had. So yeah, let me show you. From the front, yeah, you can't even really tell that there's flowers. One thing left to do, time to level up. We're going Jay Garcia with the tie today. I loved these things when I sold ties back in the day. Let's go.
Then by the power vested in me by the state of New York, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Makeup on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the honor of a lifetime to present for the first time Mr. Colby and Mrs. Olivia Reagan.
And now, it is time to introduce your wedding party. Bridesmaid David Reagan, escorted by groomsman Matt Lyers. Bridesmaid Jessica Moore, escorted by groomsman Casey Daly. Next up, we have a round called the VIPs for our newlyweds. In their lives, very important people. Maid of Honor Camille Reagan, her best man Jared Mayhar. The reason why we've all gathered here today, please make as much noise as you can for your newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Colby Reagan. And give them a round of applause, everyone. First time I held you in my arms. Another reminder, in case you didn't hear the first time, they have s'mores out by the fire. Where did that microphone come from? Her? Okay. Those of you keeping track, we are here until 11 o'clock tonight. Did you just boo? 11 o'clock?
What's the time?
We have 2 hours to go. You math majors out there can probably tell me what time it is then. Some of you caught what I did there. I have never played this at a wedding. I will, you nerd.
These boys on my shoulders like Phoenix. My city is they never ever seen me. Streaming with trying to young boy genius. This Johnson, you spend this holiday lobby. I'm figuring out when we come to. 17:30. I'm right here with somebody.
Now you may recall, Colby and Olivia came out to this, but they didn't get a chance to really enjoy it. So we're going to play it right now. Alright, this next song is going to be the last song of the night. I know. It hasn't felt like 7.5 hours at all. Colby and Olivia chose this last one. Something Like Olivia. And that's going to wrap things up here for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. But before we head out of here, I want to hear one more huge round of applause for your newlyweds, Colby and Olivia, Mr. and Mrs. Reagan.
And we're back the morning after. I actually just got up, full disclosure. I didn't get back from until 2 in the morning because that was a 7.5 hour wedding, 3:30 to 11, and we had 4 straight hours of dance floor at the end of the night. And somehow they danced the entire time. I have no idea how I was able to pull that off. Just a perfect storm of good music, the lighting, the crowd, everything. Speaking of uplighting, oh man, I'm not a huge fan of orange lighting to begin with, but they gave me 5 colors to choose from. They're wedding themed colors, and I always try to match the bridesmaids to some extent, which is why I wore, you know, the orange shirt, and it looked great in that room. It really helped add a warmth that is really hard to get when you have an all-white tent, especially when ones have ceilings that are kind of dirty and grungy. Ceremony was great. I know some people don't like that I do the 2 mic stands with the microphones on either side, but I always give the option to the officiant, and especially when they have guest speakers, and the officiant definitely, you know, ducked out of the way during the guest speakers. That was a great time to have the 2 microphones separately. The only thing that kind of stinks about that, and I will fully admit, is you gotta crank the gain up in order to get some of those people to be heard properly, because some people just aren't as loud as others, and it's really hard to sound check a microphone when you have 4 different people speaking and they all talk at different volumes. I'm naturally a pretty loud person, so whenever I sound check a microphone, I have to, you know, crank it up usually a little more than I normally would, just because I have to account for the fact that somebody's going to be quieter than me. Speaking of options that I give people, I have the spotlight on the first dance, and I always consult the photographers first because I know it affects them more than anything. I like having the spotlight directly on the couple during the first dance and no other lights on in the room because it really adds them as a focal point. But I know some photographers don't like that, so I showed the photographer the spotlights and she said it was fine, and then it actually happened. And then she went on this thing afterwards in private about like, well, you know, you should change your white because it's too cool of a white and I have to adjust it in post. Like, those of you who have the Focus Spot 3Zs know there's only 8 different lens colors in there and there's only one white. It's not like we can do anything about it. I know they make spotlights with multiple shades of white in there, but that's not what the Focus Spot 3Zs are meant for. The only thing that was really problematic yesterday, and I couldn't really catch this on camera because of how it worked. So the father of the groom had some medical issues and he was there. Obviously we announced him in. Somebody wanted to talk on the microphone about how much of a miracle it was or whatever that he was actually there and he was able to overcome the problems he was going through. And I wasn't really too keen on that. Originally the groom wanted me to have his dad come up and pretend to speak on the mic. He couldn't actually talk. And that would just lead directly into dancing. So I talked with him and then he opted against it. The father of the groom decided, you know what, I don't want that kind of focus on me. It's not about me. Let's just have a party. Fine. When this other guy comes up, was like, yeah, I want to say something, I ran it by the groom first. Actually, I had Rachel run it by the groom because I was busy DJing. And Rachel's like, yeah, Colby said it was fine. Then this guy gets up here and he just goes on way too long. Eventually, you know, the father of the groom had to come up and be like, all right, knock it off. But he kept going. You know how drunk people get with a microphone. Colby went up there and like dragged the guy off.
Thank you, everybody. Let's party now. Thank you. Have a great time.
I felt like I couldn't really interfere. I don't know these people. I don't know what's appropriate conversation regarding somebody's health situation. I don't know them. So there wasn't really anything I could do. And for like 3 minutes during Good Vibrations, there was like a weird scent in the air. Like you could tell like the vibe was a little bit off, but I was able to get it back, fortunately. And the groom insisted that it wasn't my fault. I didn't know that that was going to happen. So, you know, it's one of those things that kind of prevented the wedding from being a 10 out of 10 for me. I would keep it at a solid 9. But again, there's nothing you could do about that. So after that, I was like, no requests. Nobody else is using the microphone. It's just me. Let's go. Let me tell you what, those Ape Labs uplights work like a charm. Unfortunately, there is a downside to having them be lighter than the other lights that I have, and that is that the 2-year-old that was running around was able to pick them up and started collecting them like they were toys. And the parents were like encouraging them. I'm like, hello, these are $400 lights a piece. They're not toys. Why do you have a 2-year-old barefoot with this broken glass anyway? But I'm not a parent. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you how to raise your child, whatever. But anyway, Colby and Olivia had a fantastic time. Great night. It was just too long. That was the main issue with it, really. 4 straight hours of dancing is a lot. At 9 o'clock when I played Piano Man by Billy Joel, it was on the must playlist, and I was like, hey, 9 o'clock Saturday, I mentioned that we were ending at 11, everybody was like, ugh. But overall, everyone had a great time. A playlist will be at the tail end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we have a much simpler wedding. It's still gonna be a good one. It's 3 to 8. It's for a friend of mine, actually. I was in Boy Scouts with this guy. But that'll be at a nature center. I've never played there before, but it's a smaller scale wedding. It should still be fun. But until then, I'm Torgo with Torgo Entertainment, and we will see you at the next gig. Take care.
gonna take the spotlight off because I know it's bright. There we go, that's better. You like that? You like that?